Hi, hello, and welcome to the channel. I'm Lady Celine, and today we are continuing with Chapter 2 of Chaos Head Noah. In the last one, we learned a lot about this mysterious string of incidents, these deaths, the earthquake, and how they all might somehow be related. Takami's learning about it for the first time. Yua, I think, has her theories that to get into a little psychiatric territory. Um, let's get into it. All right, so yeah, he's coping. He's trying so hard to cope. It hurt to breathe. All I was doing was looking up some stuff on the computer, but I could feel my heart pounding far faster than normal. The sensation that something was watching me just wouldn't go away. I was still restraining the urge to turn around, but I wouldn't be able to do it much longer. Who the hell are you? Stop sneaking around my damn room. I yelled at the something. Was the something the demon girl? No way, right? I don't know. Was she watching me with some kind of demonic psychic power, like clairvoyance? Hyperventilation, panic, panic, panic. The prickling on my neck only got more intense. It was turning into a sensation like a faint electric shock. Is there's like... I'm getting schizo vibes, but I don't think that's what's going on here. I was starting to sweat hard. My t-shirt was soaked. Damn it! Finally, I gave in and turned around, but all I saw was my room. Nothing unusual at all. Nothing beyond the fourth wall. Why aren't you there? Who are you? I let out a scream, then stood up to make sure the door was locked. When I saw that it was, I felt a little better. I wiped the sweat off my brow with the bottom of my shirt. Then I went back to my PC and stared at the monitor again. I'd been reading up about how psychics could supposedly see the future. The ability to see the future before it happened. When I was a kid, I was absolutely sure that powers like that existed. To be honest, I still kind of believed it. That was the reason. I'd immediately thought that the image the demon girl and Shogun sent was from the future, and why I'd felt I had to look it up. Maybe there were psychics who could see the future everywhere, and I just didn't know it. I'd done something kind of similar when I was a kid with the bus accident, so I couldn't be sure it was impossible, right? Intuition's a strong thing. It can do some crazy coincidental shit. But the more I looked into it, though, the more it all seemed like a bunch of bullshit. Either occult stuff or magic tricks. There wasn't any scientific proof that they existed, but there was no proof that they didn't exist either. That's not much of a comfort. You'd think there'd be at least one solid lead. Nah, buddy, sorry. All of what you're gonna find is gonna be, like, debunked. I got even more annoyed and slammed my fingers down on the keys. The fact that everything was so vague made me feel scared and uneasy. Was I supposed to just keep waiting, spending every day in fear of a demon who might not ever come? My mind couldn't handle that. Of course, what I wanted was proof that it was impossible to see the future, but either way, I wanted a solid answer. My last hope was 8chan's occult board. That place was filled with useless trash, lies and fakes, but sometimes there was amazing info just lying there. Oh yeah, and how are you gonna identify this from identify the useful info from the trash? Like, it's all just gonna look the same, my guy. I opened the page for @channel, trying to stay calm. I went to the occult board and ran a search for future sight. And then... Huh? we're seeing some new gen stuff. Or I see the word new, I see the phrase new gen, so maybe talk about Fess's prophecies. Did we meet a Fess? There were a surprising number of hits, about 30 actually. Was it a popular topic on 8chan these days? I gulped and looked at the threads one by one.
Phantasm. FES.
Phantasm? FES? Most of the threads contain the terms phantasm or FES. I also saw the term new gen a lot. There was something about prophetic lyrics and murders, too. Okay, so maybe someone else has also seen something about this happening. I searched and found out that Phantasm was a 4-person goth punk band based in Shibuya. They were popular on the indie music scene, and their female vocalists used the stage name FES. I decided to see what that band had to do with seeing the future. The top thread was titled Prophecy/Future Sight, Phantasm General, New Gen 43. I decided to read it. We might as well. Something about concert, lyrics. Oh, you can't really call that a prophecy. That's just annoying. Okay. She's a vocalist, not Nostradamus. Talking about Fez, ignoring someone else that did some composing. Some simping over Fez. What do you mean by the new gen prophecy? Followers guided by the light of the moon, a path of illusions that leads to this place. The shouts soon turn to silence. Feeling peace as you fall, 2 hands clasping in the wind. I'm anti-phantasm, by the way. Their fans are scary. It's like they're all brainwashed or something. Oh, he says, this what you mean by the new gen prophecy. Okay, so these are lyrics that are supposedly prophetic. Followers guided by the light of the moon. A path of illusions that leads to this place. The shouts soon turn to silence, feeling peace as you fall, 2 hands clasping in the wind. I guess all of that kind of sounds like the group dive a little bit. Her fans are going to murder you in your sleep, dumbass. Don't share the lyrics, idiot. Read the room. The lyrics were... Well, you could interpret them as referring to the group dive, depending on how you looked at it. And the lyrics had been published 2 months ago. In other words, they weren't written after the group dive. Okay, so not written after the group dive. Maybe the group dive was somehow inspired by these lyrics or something to do with this band? Does that mean they saw the future? Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I could say... you can't jump to that immediately. It really could be cause and effect. Or a coincidence. Wasn't it just a coincidence? Or was Phantasm working with the demon girl, too? I read more of the log and found that all 3 of the new gen cases had been prophesized by their lyrics. 8chan didn't have the lyrics for the pregnant man and crucified cases, though. There seemed to be some kind of thing where you weren't supposed to upload them to the internet. If you really wanted to know what they were, you had to go to a concert and buy their album. Did they only sell the album at the concert? You can't... Well, I guess it depends on how indie they are. If anyone else if a store would sell them. Either way, there were any number of discussions online trying to predict the outcome of the next new gen murder based on Phantasm's lyrics. Their album, published on an indie label, had been selling extremely well after the new gen incident started. Some observers in the media had noticed, and Phantasm now appeared sometimes in articles about the cult hit with the Shibuya youth. FES was the one who wrote the lyrics. You pronounced it like the first half of festival, supposedly. Her real name wasn't known. I was just going on FES based on how he said it the first time, so Fess, okay. Maybe she was the demon girl. If she was, then that would explain how she was able to predict the murders months in advance. She was the one who'd carried them out, after all. I did an image search, but couldn't find a picture of her face. All the photos from her concerts were taken with crappy cell phone cameras. They were too blurry to get a good look at her.
So,
I I guess that just makes me wonder like when exactly this takes place because I feel like by 2010 we would have had good enough cameras for that. I wiped the sweat from my brow with my t-shirt again. Frustration, fear, a desire to believe nothing, a desire to see nothing. All these feelings came together and made it hard to breathe. I was still panting. I needed to see Fess's face. With trembling hands on the keyboard, I went to Phantasm's official site. Phantasmo. It was a simple design with a black background. The font was a blood red crimson with a terrifying, ominous feel to it. The site itself had very little in the way of information, just a simple concert schedule and a discography. There were no profiles of the band members and no lyrics. Maybe she's not uploading her face because she's the killer? She was clever. A look at their schedule showed me that they seemed to do concerts about every 2 weeks. The next one was the day after tomorrow. If I went, I would be able to see if Fess was the demon girl. But what good would that do? Was I going to turn her over to the police? Beg her to leave me alone? Could I take a cross and try to exorcise her? No, considering she could use crosses, the demon girl can use crosses as murder weapons, I don't think that's gonna work. Not a chance. I couldn't do any of those things. She was a demon. A creepy otaku like me couldn't beat her. And if I lost, I would die. My corpse would become another disgusting piece of art, and photos of it would be uploaded to a new gen aggregator site. Yeah, it'd be sensationalized just like the others. No! No, but if I didn't go, I wouldn't know why I was in the image that Shogun sent me. I don't think that'll give you a straight answer about that either. And maybe if Fess wasn't working with the demon girl, I could ask for her help. There you go. That's a bit more reasonable. But I can't go to a concert. I'd never been to one in my entire life. Especially in a concert hall that was cramped and dark and loud and filled with people. Just imagining it made me want to vomit. I didn't know what to do. The prickling on my neck was still there. It had gone from a tingling numbness to a burning pain, and when I looked behind me, of course, still nobody was there. Stop it. I closed my eyes and waited for the gaze to go away. I don't want to see them anymore. I refused to have this sensation following me for the rest of my life. Someday it might get strong enough to actually kill me. How? Think, Takumi. What can you do? Not much, my guy. Not much. Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Okay. I think we might be at a music venue. I hid myself behind a lamppost and stared at a club called Gigantes. In the end, I spent the whole day thinking and worrying about it before finally deciding to go. Gigantes was a distinctive red brick building near the Shibuya train tracks. Its exterior was lit up in a way that made it feel old, like something that would have been popular in the 70s or 80s. And also, the reason I'm going with that pronunciation is because the sign here is in English. Gigantes, or not English, but whatever alphabet we use. It could be it could be Spanish, it could be gigantes. No, that wouldn't make sense. Gigantes. It would have to be the same G sound, like giga, not giga or gi Neither of those really make sense. I had no idea that there was still a place like this in Shibuya. It was just 5 minutes from the station, but there were barely any people around. Sometimes I could hear a train passing above. Vibrations from the loud noise would shake the lamppost I was hiding behind. Until a moment ago, there had been a lot of people out front, wearing outfits that could easily be mistaken for a cosplay. And they did say it was a goth scene. Well, maybe not a lot of them. It was surprising how relatively few of them there were. From all that talk on the internet about Phantasm, there were probably only 100 people or so there. They were all inside now. The concert had started. The sound didn't reach the outside, though, so it was still dead quiet. All right. The music started. Are we going to work ourselves up to go in? The nervous sensation in my heart that had started yesterday had only gotten worse when I arrived here. It hurt so much to breathe that I was beginning to wonder if I had some kind of heart disease. No, the reason was much simpler than that. It was pure fear, buddy. It was dark around here. The demon girl or her servants could be lurking anywhere. I was desperately scanning the area around me, looking for anyone who might be about to jump me. Okay, see, I know that his whole thing is like, oh, I don't want to be in crowds, but staying in his room might be a good idea for his safety. I'm still not sure exactly how much danger he's in. Being there made me feel tense, as being in the Wan's volcanic labyrinth in ESO. The Wan's volcanic labyrinth was full of overpowered enemies, and the area itself was filled with lava. The slightest touch of lava meant instant death. Yeah, that's pretty standard for video games. How many times had I died in that zone? I wiped the sweat off my forehead with a hand towel and gulped. The door at the top of the stairs to Gigantes opened, and for a moment I could hear the sound of drums being violently pounded on. A boy came out the door. He ran down the stairs and over to me. Got a light? Got a smoke? Yo, oh shit! Hey Taku, did I keep you waiting? It's Musumi, I think? I was the one who'd invited him to this concert. I didn't know his cell number, so I'd been forced to go to school that day and talk to him. Words nightmare, having to interact with someone and go to a concert hall on the same day. I don't have the energy for school and a concert on the same day. I didn't think I could have gotten to Gigantes without him. And even if I had, if the demon girl was inside, it would be game over from the minute I opened the door. That's why I'd enlisted him as a scout. It felt like I was using him, and I did feel a little guilty. Not that I said anything to him about it, of course. The only ones I could ask were him and Nanami. I opted for the one who'd been less obnoxious, which meant Misumi. I would pay for his ticket. In other words, I'd be basically hiring him for 1,000 yen, about $10. Here's your CD. I bought one for me, too. He handed me a copy of Phantasm's album. They were going for a huge premium online, but I'd read on 8chan that you could buy one at a concert, so I decided to have Misumi get one for me. Now half my goal was accomplished. The other half was getting an actual look at Fess, or getting him to describe her. Man, Phantasm was a lot better than I expected. He just left the concert hall and seemed a little excited. I don't like just listening to what's popular, so I'd kind of ignored them. But after hearing them live, I'm a fan. The other thing I'd asked him to do was to describe the band members for me. They'd all come out as soon as the concert began, so all he'd needed to do was take a quick look and report back to me. I don't know if this is how concerts work in Japan, but are they the opener? Are they a headliner but don't have openers? If there's still music going on, it makes me think that maybe they were an opener band. But I hadn't seen him for 5 whole minutes after the concert had started. It seemed like the reason for that was him deciding to listen to their first song. Oh, okay, so he only stayed for like the first song or two. The girl doing the vocals especially, she was pretty hot. You've got pretty good taste in women. Yeah, Misumi was only ever going to think about things with his little head. So much for not liking what's popular. What was she like? Oh, yeah. I'm supposed to tell you that. This is kind of fun. Like being a detective, don't you think? He grinned and began to describe Fess to me. Her hair was a short cut. Okay, that's important. That didn't match the demon girl at all. Did that mean that Fess wasn't the demon girl then? No, wait, it was too soon to be sure. Yeah, she could have cut her hair. You could always cut your hair or add extensions if you wanted. She might have been in disguise when I'd run into her at the murder scene. That's true, it could have been a wig. It could have been fake hair. She had a really nice figure. Oh, she was tall. Probably about my height. Tall. About Misumi's height? Misumi's height wasn't much different from mine. So Fess was about 170 centimeters tall. Pretty tall for a girl. I don't know what that is in inches. I'm not going to look into it right now. But when I'd run into the demon girl, she hadn't seemed especially tall to me. My memories weren't really that clear, but she'd seemed to be shorter than I was. Another thing that didn't match. What else? She had this sense of ennui about her. Her voice was kind of cold and quiet, sort of a whisper, you might say. Oh, is this that? I remember now. We got a glimpse of a blue-haired girl like singing in the night. Maybe that was her? Maybe? Her boobs were pretty big, I guess. Her goth punk outfit was pretty hot, though. I'd never really considered that sort of thing, but I like it. I like it a lot. Of course you do, buddy. It was no good. Just hearing someone else describe her wasn't going to be enough. I'd only gotten a quick glance at the demon girl anyway. I don't think I could have described her even if you wanted me to. Maybe this whole plan was a waste of time. Actually, if you're that interested in Fess, let's go take a look at her. Come on, let's go. Yeah, I do think he should see for... He came all this way, he should see for himself. Even the whole, like, oh, I couldn't describe her if you asked me to. Okay, but you would know upon looking if she looked any bit of similar, at least. Misumi pushed me up the stairs of Gigantes. I tried to resist, but he was stronger than me, and I couldn't escape. Wait! You want to see Fess's face, right? Just admit it. Cheating is what makes you a real man. I'm glad to see you finally grown up, Taku. Oh, because he thinks we're dating you, Huh? For tonight, forget about that girl with the glasses you were with earlier. I'll forget about Tanaka, too. I mean, it's okay to watch a girl sing, but you don't even have to have this layer of, oh, we can pretend we don't have girlfriends. What was he talking about? I tried to resist, but I realized it was too late. We were already at the top of the stairs. It was only a single floor off the ground, but if I struggled here and slipped, a fall would hurt pretty bad. The thought made me stop struggling. When I stopped resisting, Misumi shoved me through the door and into the concert hall. What are we gonna see? This is gonna be sensory overload for him, like hell. When I went inside, my ears were assaulted with a wave of sound. I'd never experienced anything this loud. I could feel it shaking the bottom of my stomach, and the vibrations felt like they threatened to tear me apart. There weren't any seats. Everyone was standing. Yeah, that makes sense for a dive. The audience rocked their bodies in time with the rhythm, and I could hear cries of "Fess! Fess!" in time with the music. Their movements weren't as coordinated as the otage you saw at idol concerts, but they were still really impressive. I'm gonna have to look into that. Otage, special calls or dance move performed by some fans at idol concerts and other otaku-oriented events. Some of these performances are incredibly elaborate, and each of the movements is given a name. If you're lucky enough to see a row of fans doing an otage in perfect harmony, truly a sight you'll never forget. So it's like the wave. It's like the wave. Just kidding, it's more intricate than that, but I get what they mean. The intensity was incredible. I felt like I was about to throw up from the heat of so many bodies. I was an otaku, but not an idol or voice actress otaku. So to be honest, I didn't like concerts like this. I mean, this would still be pretty different from like a pop idol concert. The one saving grace was that nobody was looking at me, but I couldn't deny that I was terribly out of place here. I'm assuming he didn't come in his school uniform. I mean, Misumi was in his school uniform, so that would definitely make them stand out. There were so many people that I couldn't get a clear look at the stage. The most I could make out were the silhouettes of 4 people standing under bright stage lights. And that's just bad lighting. If you can't see like generally their faces from the back of a dive. As I stood there, overwhelmed, Misumi handed me a plastic cup with some soda in it. That might not just have soda. He must have paid for my ticket. I'd have to pay him back later. I'm worried that that's not just soda. He's not going to be ready for that. And then the song ended. A wave of cheers and applause went up from the audience. Finally, everyone lowered their raised fists. I had a clear view of the stage. I could get a clear look at the short-haired girl up there. She definitely wasn't the demon girl. Oh! Today, I'm feeling better than most days. I can hear the voices clearly. The world is so still and silent. Her voice, picked up by the amplifier and coming through the speakers, was nothing like the demon girl's either. Oh, that's right, he did hear her talk because she was like, oh, like, I'm so glad, like, I waited for you or something like that. Fess had, as Misumi said, a sense of ennui about her. She didn't seem boyish despite her short hair. She had a strange aura that was simultaneously cute and seductive, but also aloof. The accessories on her body reflected in the lights and gleamed silver, giving her a strange, unearthly look, like something from a fairy tale. I could understand why she was so popular on 8chan. You'd expect a singer like her to be loud and passionate, or so I assumed, but Fess was calm as she spoke into the mic. It was the complete opposite of the excitement of the crowd. Maybe that was just her personality. Dude, I've seen some like intricate or possibly upbeat music with like a soft femme voice. It's not common, but it definitely does happen, and it gives a very interesting dynamic to the sound. But the audience knew better than to shout over her. There was silence as she spoke, and everyone listened. Maybe it's because the gate to Cocytus is closed. All right, you're going to have to help me with that one. Cocytus, one of the 2 rivers found at the entrance to the underworld in Greek mythology. Its name means the river of wailing. The dead cross this river to enter the underworld. So it's the river Styx? Well, I guess it says it's one of two rivers, Cocytus and Styx, perhaps. What did she say? Cocytus? What language was that? Latin, I guess. The planetary balance has been maintained for thousands of years, since the birth of the Great Will. But now it is falling apart, becoming unstable. That's why I sing. I will take your chaos into myself. Okay, she's got a vibe. Oh, now I understood. She was speaking in character. It was a goth punk thing. Maybe she was trying to say stuff that sounded ominous, even if you didn't know what it meant. It would make her seem kind of mystical, and help her connect better with her fans. In fact, Fess was holding something strange in her hand. In her left hand was a normal mic, but in her right was a strange mic stand that looked like some kind of sword. It had a strange form with flowing curves that felt alien and dangerous. It also looked so sharp that even touching it might be threatened to sever a finger. It was huge, just as big as she was. The glass embedded in the stand glowed with a strange pale light. I wasn't sure if it even was a mic stand, but it was the perfect prop to help define her character. I want to see it. Show me a picture. I found myself strangely unable to take my eyes off of it. Fess raised the huge mic stand above her head. No? Okay, I really thought it was going to show us that time. And with an underhand grip, she swung it in an arc in front of her. The pale light of the glass made a half circle in the air. That was really dangerous. What if it hit someone? Maybe it wasn't a mic stand, but a sword. And maybe, she would cut off the head of a member of the audience each night in order to offer up their still warm blood to the demon girl. That would make this whole concert a black mass, led by witches. Oh, he's getting the wit. Oh no, he's freaked out by the witchy vibes. I began to shiver. Maybe it would be better to just leave now. Next is our third song, The Esoteric Necklace. Another huge cheer went up for the audience. Okay, that's pretty rockin'. Yes, okay, we finally see a little bit of the sword stand thing. Okay, finally. The members of the band all began to move at once, and a flood of sound hit my ears again. It felt like it was going to destroy my eardrums. How did they all keep from going deaf? I looked to my side, and Misumi was having a great time, raising his fist to the rhythm along with the rest of the audience. The intro ended, and Fess began to sing, and the lyrics made me freeze. Oh yeah? Oh, I don't know what just happened to the it seems like the volume went down a bit. This was the prophetic song that I'd seen on At-chan. It was a dark song without a glimmer of hope to be found in it. Maybe it was partially the lyrics too, but the melody felt almost religious. I want to know if this is actually what he's hearing, because that's an odd interpretation of this music. As the song progressed, the crowd's cheers faded, and before long, they were silent. All of them were listening intently. All of them were listening intently, however, and some of them even seemed to be gazing at Fess in a kind of ecstasy. There was certainly something in her voice that drew you to her. Even as I fought against my fear of the crowd and the urge to vomit, I was still listening to make sure I heard her sing. We got a crowd hypnotized, perhaps? Somehow, the temperature of the room seemed to drop to below freezing in an instant. Okay. Are we about to experience something? The song ended. Fess looked down, her body swaying from side to side, immersing herself in the last seconds of the song. Then she suddenly raised her head, and without any doubt or hesitation... Ooh! Good or bad, good or bad, good or bad. Looked right at me. Oh shit, we made eye contact. Ooh, I kind of want him to have a good experience. Do we trust her or not? Do I trust her or not? I want to go good, maybe? I'm just worried it's going to be goony. I don't mean our eyes met for a moment, or that she was looking in my direction. She was clearly looking straight at me. Staring, as if trying to see all that she could, as if trying to see who I was, as if trying to see into my heart. Her gaze was so powerful, and for some reason, kind of sad. Here we fucking go! Without taking her eyes off me, she walked right off the stage. The members of Phantasm began to play again. But she wasn't singing. As she slowly worked her way through the crowd, she threw off her jacket in a languid motion, exposing her sexy shoulders. Ugh, sexy shoulders. The fans began to get excited again. They raised their fists and jumped in the air. The vibrations were shaking the floor like an earthquake. But nobody tried to touch her. She seemed almost sacred to them. You'd think if someone with her charisma came down into the audience, people would be jumping all over her. But some kind of unspoken understanding kept her believers from touching her. Even so, feeling her so close, smelling the scent of her sweat, touching the same air as her, these were the greatest joys her followers could ask for. Maybe this was some kind of performance she did at every concert, I thought. But then I was shocked at what she did next. And she could be just picking a random person in the audience and... oh gosh. She began to casually take off her belt. She tossed it into the crowd, and all her followers scrambled to grab it for themselves. Fess gave them a contemptuous glance, then... Ooh! Oh, hot! Oh, damn! She lowered the zipper on her miniskirt. And it looks like she's got her sword stand. It fell to the ground. We've got some upside-down crosses as garters, okay. Revealing sexy black underwear. Fess didn't seem to mind exposing herself to her followers at all. Maybe she was high on the excitement, or maybe it was part of the performance, or maybe she was just an exhibitionist. I didn't know, but she was so sexy I couldn't take my eyes off her. Ooh, that glare, not glare, but the look feels a little sexy dangerous. Fess looked back at me. She gave me a seductive smile. Hey, she's coming this way. Her gaze was locked on me. She got closer and closer, as if homing in on her target. And when she got right in front of me, she exhaled, her breath soft and sweet like a lover, and embraced me. Her skin was slick with sweat, and the smell and the warmth made me dizzy. She pressed her chest against me. It heaved up and down rapidly with each breath. They say that singing takes a lot of energy, but I could feel her hot, panting breath directly through my skin. Her arms were wrapped tightly around my back, her nails dug into my neck, her thighs clung to my legs. My body felt like it had been hit by lightning. He's actually never had this much contact with a girl. I couldn't push her off or even return her embrace. All I could do was stand there, blinking in confusion. The man's paralyzed. Her followers started to cheer once again. It was almost like a scream. The band's performance became louder and more violent. The cries of "Fess! Fess!" filled the hall, and then they started to mix with cries of "Do it! Do it!" Maybe she starts to strip an audience member? Do what? I didn't understand. Fess was silently holding on to me. I looked over at Misumi for help. He was exchanging a deep kiss with a female audience member. Dude, of course. No, it wasn't just Misumi. Oh. The other followers, male and female, had all cast off their clothes and were embracing each other. Some were kissing, and some were even starting to have sex. Yep, okay. It quickly turned into a loud screaming orgy. There were moans, cheers, and the indecent sound of flesh rubbing flesh, all of it accompanied by the playing of the Phantasm Band. What's with the creepy music still, though? This should be hot, right? A black mass. I finally understood. Fess was a witch, and this was her obscene Sabbath. And I'd been chosen to be the night's sacrifice. I would be Fess's partner. Did this happen at every Phantasm concert? I started to get caught up in it, too. It was like a thin veil of fog was covering my mind. A sense of fear and anticipation of what was to come. A sense of ecstasy and superiority at being chosen as her partner. I thought I would go crazy. It's a lot of emotions and a lot of physical touch. He's gonna lose his mind. She laughed again, right up against my ear. Even amid the flood of sound, I could still hear it clearly. Oh, it was such a sexy sound. Just hearing it felt like enough to make me pass out. But Fess was inviting me to experience an even greater pleasure. She softly bit my ear, then blew a hot breath into it, and then she whispered, "Whose eyes are those?" Wait, what? 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 Fess, you're so sexy, Fess. I was sitting in front of my computer enjoying my delusions. Well, wait, shit, did he actually go to the concert then? Okay. The concert I'd gone to today was a good change of pace. Fess was pretty cute for a 3D girl. Having so many people around triggered my agoraphobia hard, though. Okay, so he acknowledges he is agoraphobic, that is a part of this. I definitely wasn't going to go back. In the end, I'd gotten sick from being around the crowd and fled the concert hall. Today's delusion was a good one. Maybe Fess and Phantasm really were doing that stuff at their concerts. And maybe today they just didn't for some reason. I've got no proof. I'm just going to pretend that they do. Anyway, time for some ESO. ESO was my life. It was a place where I could feel at home, a place that would help me forget all the awful things that happened in reality. Inside ESO, I could forget all the bad things that had happened. I ceased to be me and became Nightheart, free to travel as I wished in Baselard. But today, Nightheart wasn't doing so good. Of course, I knew it was my fault. The problem was with my own judgment and reaction times. We're a little thrown off by the sexy delusion, I think. but I was failing at things I could normally do easily. I was playing to make myself feel better, but I was just feeling worse. Honestly, I get it. I rage at my own poor game playing, especially if I'm like trying to have a good time and then I just keep fucking up and then I get more nervous from fucking up and just get frustrated with it and just shut the whole thing down. Fuck it, we're doing something else. What the hell is your problem? I'm gonna delete you, damn it. I knew it was my own fault, but I still yelled at Nightheart. Damn it all, you're pissing me off. I tore at my hair and kicked the exposed metal plating that formed the wall of my room. After working out my anger, I sighed and leaned back into my chair. I stared at the monitor, only half paying attention to what was on the screen. Nightheart was no longer under my control. He was standing at the entrance of Shangri-La City, facing in a random direction with his back turned to me and not moving an inch. I always fought the enemies like this, with his back to me. Nightheart's experience points were maxed out, of course. How many experience points do I have, huh? Oh, that's a big number. That's in like the 100 trillions, I think. Had the person named Takumi Nishijo grown at all since I'd started ESO? No, since I'd even been born. If I had, why was it so hard to talk to people? Why was I living a life that was one step away from being a total hikikomori? If I didn't log in for a few weeks, would Nightheart become a hikikomori too? Whose eyes are those? For some reason, as I looked at Nightheart's back, I remembered those words. I started to wonder what Nightheart did when I wasn't controlling him. I kept my hands off the keyboard for a while, eating my stale chips and watching him. No idle animation, how boring. If Nightheart had an identity of his own, he'd be walking tall through the city of Shangri-La, head held high. He was a hero, and everyone loved him. Ooh, another one? Hey, Nightheart. I'm always watching you, you know. Ooh, I'm gonna feed into it. Did you ever notice? Oh, I'm evil. And then the monitor was bathed in a bright light. I was caught off guard and closed my eyes. Did you think I wouldn't notice? I heard a voice. I've always obeyed your commands, and yet the voice was coming from the monitor. We're talking to Nightheart. I never thought the person inside me was such an idiot. Who are you? You know who this is, bud. I opened my eyes, but the light a moment ago had blinded me. I couldn't see a thing. Enough. I'm deleting you. Oh. From now on, I'll live my own life. Was that Nightheart? What did he mean he was going to delete me? You can't do that, man. I meant what I just said. You're an idiot. I made you. You're my character. Are you rebelling against me? That's right. I've had enough of you. What kind of name is Lightning Fast Nightheart anyway? It sounds like something a 7th grader would pick. Do you understand? Do you understand how I felt being called that? Being given that ridiculous name like a pet? Dude, I get that. You might think it sounded cool, but every time someone called me that, I cringed. Takumi's pretty cringe. But I was never able to speak with my own voice. All I could do was silently endure. Shut up! You don't get to talk to me like that. I'll delete you if you keep talking like that. Do whatever you want. But remember this. In the same way you can delete me with a single button, the person inside you can delete you just as easily. Ooh, so ominous. What was he talking about? I mean, we can delete a save file, but we can't delete the character. Well, that would never happen, though. I chuckled a little at my delusion and stared at Nightheart, who was still standing silently in the world of Baselard. Maybe I'd keep him a little safer than usual today. Do less risky things. Just not piss him off. I started playing once more. Yeah. Scene change. Okay. I'll tell it just as it happened. I went to school today, and then when it was over, I found myself buying a cell phone with my little sister. You might not understand what I'm talking about. I didn't understand when it happened to me either. Brother, what are you mumbling about? I asked if you like this model or not. God, I wanted to go home. How many times would I have to tell her that I didn't want a cell phone before it sunk in? When I got to school today, she barged right into my classroom. Wow, look who actually came to school today, she'd said. And then she'd order me to come buy a phone with her. Yeah, his parents are probably pissed that he's not saying anything. After school, I tried to escape before she could find me, but I'd forgotten how fast she could be. She'd easily found me, caught up to me, and dragged me to a shop in front of the station. I didn't want to go anywhere near the station. I never did. Every time I went, I felt like I'd throw up any minute now. Nanami didn't know or care about how I felt, though. She was looking at all the different display models and muttering to herself. I couldn't understand why Nanami would care about what kind of phone I got. This is kind of a cute color, right? I think it's a good one. Just based on the color, it's a good cell phone. She asked my opinion, and I gave the obvious answer. I don't care. That one, it's fine. Oh, the face, so cute. But you know, it may be a little too cute for you. Maybe it's not your type. I'm imagining like a light blue or something. I told her I was fine with it, and she didn't listen. I'd lost count of how many times I told her I was okay with whatever model she wanted. She asked my opinion, but didn't seem interested in listening to it at all. That was the problem with 3D women. You know what? Valid complaint. I'll give it to him. Brother, are you okay? Are there just too many people here for you? See, she's aware. She knows about the agoraphobia. Want to rest at MacD's? MacD's? You want me to go into a fast food chain that's full of DQNs? That'd be even worse than this place. I furiously shook my head. Okay, I'll try to pick one out for you as fast as I can then. I'm having trouble deciding though. Just get me whatever phone you have. I sighed and decided to leave her behind so I could go home. She was staring intently at the rows of cell phones, which gave me an opportunity to slip away. Oh, thank God. I started to walk toward the 107 when I saw something so startling I came to a stop. What was that? What is it? What is it? What is it? What are we looking at? On the other side of the huge crowd of people, On the steps to the 107 building, there was a girl who stood out from the rest. I can't really see from here. We're going to get a closer. Was she holding a sword? Its colors and the way it looked reminded me of the mic stand that Fess had been holding during the concert. It was probably from the same product line, I assumed. It sure was a big sword, though. Might have been even longer than the one Fess had been holding. The girl with the sword was, surprisingly, wearing a Sui Mei uniform. From this distance, I couldn't make out her face. Even though she was holding something so huge and attention-grabbing, she was standing there calmly as she looked down at people below her. It must have taken a lot of courage to do that. I was really impressed. Seriously. Carrying a huge toy sword like that in the middle of Shibuya? Wasn't that incredibly embarrassing? That sword was probably an accessory for some new anime cosplay. Of course, I kept an eye on all the new anime that's coming out. Was there anything with a sword like that this season? Had I missed it? There was no way I would ever be able to carry something like that through the middle of Shibuya. But it was a really sweet sword. I kind of wanted one. I wondered if they were selling them in Akihabara. Maybe online? Brother! Nanami caught up. I suddenly took a heavy elbow to the back. I almost crumpled to the ground in pain. Yeah, that's what you get for leaving her. I turned around to see Nanami looking at me, arms crossed in anger. Were you trying to run away? Yes. Sure, maybe I was taking a little too long to choose a phone for you. But that doesn't mean it's okay to just up and leave me, does it? I shook my head, or tried to, anyway. Brother, you jerk. I hope you suck up too much radiation from your phone and it kills your kidneys and you die. What was she talking about? Baka Oni. I feel like an idiot for trying so hard to find the right phone for you. That's true, you don't appreciate your sister, though. I'll just decide right now, then. You can just have the same phone I do. Perfect. I love it. That's what I wanted in the first place. She grabbed me by the arm, hard. You're signing the contract for it today, okay? Until it's done, I'm not letting you get away. Fine. Just let me go. Good. Come on. I had no idea why this was such a big deal to her. She really was an annoying little sister. In the end, all that time she'd spent picking a phone was totally wasted, as she ended up getting me the same one she had. After an hour or so of signing contracts and filling out paperwork, I tried to take my phone and go, but Nanami stopped me. Let's go to MacD's. I'll get your phone set up for you. She ignored my protestations. She ignored my protests and grabbed me by the collar, dragging me to the nearest MacD's. So we've got a very modern-looking MacD's, but then I also remember her phone being a flip phone, so that does make me wonder if this is back closer to, like, 2010. I just know you're planning to take it home and throw it in a drawer without even turning it on. You know what, that's fair. So, I'll make it so you can actually use it. Damn it. She was really determined to make me miserable. Why did it have to be a MacD's? MacD's in Shibuya was hell. There would always be way too many people, and it would be incredibly loud with the DQN ratio off the charts. A group of 3 DQN-looking brown-haired mothers and their kids were sitting at the table next to me. Their kids, and all 3 were little brats with red streaks dyed in their hair, were running around the store screaming. Their mothers were simply ignoring them. Oh, come on, at least take your kids to the play place. At another table, 4 DQN-looking teenage boys were laughing loudly in their obnoxious voices. 2 high school girls in loose socks were sitting across from each other, both staring at their phones. They weren't talking. Next to them, a middle-aged salaryman was lying head down on a table, snoring. He was clearly skipping work. A table a little farther away was even stranger. A group of 5 boys and girls in elementary school had set their backpacks on the ground and were dangling their legs as they happily chatted with one another. A group date? You're in elementary school and you're on a group date? It was people I wanted nothing to do with as far as the eye could see. It was amazing that Nanami could feel at home here. The sheer number of people were making my head hurt, and I felt like I was going to vomit. Why did I have to be here with my sister at a McD's anyway? Hey, what do you want for your ringtone? Any suggestions? She wasn't even looking at me, just playing with my phone. An anime song? No way. You're such an otaku, brother. You were the one who asked me. It's my phone anyway. Let me put what I want on it. That's also a good point. Oh, I know. Why not the new song from Karera Omura? It's a great song. It's my favorite lately. No way. I can't stand DQN pop music. I guess a Karera Omura song isn't really right for you anyway. She cruelly insulted her older brother as she bit into a French fry. She'd ordered a fish sandwich combo even though we hadn't had dinner yet. I'd had to pay, too. For my part, I felt too sick to even consider eating anything. It wasn't fair. Dude, the fries will settle your stomach. They're actually good for you when you're feeling gross. Oh, and for some reason, she pulled her bag up to her lap and began looking through it. Okay, here we go. And then she took out maybe a little Garo Froggy for him. Yeah. A defective Garo Froggy? It's not defective. It's the new bug-eyed Garo Froggy. It just came out last week. Huh? You don't know about it? Wow, you are behind the times. New versions of Garo Froggy come out every Friday. There are already 12 types. Really? Was there enough demand for a new one every week? The one on my phone is the first version, a normal Garo Froggy. The next was Fat Garo Froggy, then Blocky Garo Froggy. She quickly ran off the names of the various Garo Froggies. Number 4 was a no-face Garo Froggy, and 5th was a radiant Garo Froggy. The 6th was the most popular, Kitty Garo Froggy. Then there was Ghost Garo Froggy, Sleepy Garo Froggy, Burning Garo Froggy, Zombie Garo Froggy, Drunk Garo Froggy. Drunk? Okay. Wow, she had memorized all of them? Wait a second, did that mean... Do you have the complete set? Of course. You have to get the full set or it doesn't count. People line up to buy the new ones every week. Shit, this really is like the Labubu's. For this lazy, sloppily made product? To be honest, I probably could have come up with a better design. Why had she started giving me a lecture about Garo Froggy anyway? So, here's your bug-eyed Garo Froggy. Why? If you put the strap on your phone, it might actually impress a girl for once. She began to attach it to my phone, despite my obvious disapproval. I thought you had to have the complete set. If I take that one, then you won't have them all. You don't need to worry about me. I bought 2. You buy 2 every week? No, dude, she just got one for you and one for her. I was really starting to worry about her sense of taste. Just this time, I bought an extra for your phone. You went to all that trouble? Bruh, they were probably at the checkout counter. I went to all that trouble. She finished attaching the strap and nodded, satisfied, before taking a sip of her drink. But then suddenly she gasped and leaned toward me. I didn't stand in line for you, brother. I wasn't standing in line for you, brother. I was going to buy one anyway. No thanks. Just take it. I don't want it. Nanami leaned forward with wide eyes. She looked ready to leap across the table at me. You don't want it? Even though I went to all that trouble to get it for you? You were going to buy one anyway, right? I don't care about Garo Froggy. Anyway, it's creepy. This is why girls don't like you, brother. I thought she was going to slap me, but instead she calmly sat down and began to nibble on her fries. But it's no use resisting, okay? I already stuck it on your phone. No getting it off now. Never gonna come off. It's permanent. It's permanent fixture to the phone. It was like she thought she was in control here. Well, I guess she was. I hated to admit it, but she knew way more about phones than me. If you take it off, I'm gonna punish you by making you line up with me. Line up where? Probably for the next Garo Froggy. Where else? In the line to buy the new Garo Froggy. It's usually about 2 hours. Shit. Insane. Why did I have to be threatened by my own little sister? She kept fiddling with my phone for a while after that. I kept her quiet, so I preferred it this way. It feels kind of weird. The next time she spoke, her bad mood had disappeared. Maybe she was the type who didn't need to sleep on something unpleasant to forget about it. She could forget it after just a few minutes. What an easygoing personality she had. In a way, I was jealous. Yeah, it is weird. It feels like it's been forever since the two of us went anywhere. No, that's probably accurate. I wonder how long it's been. I can't remember. You're always locked up in your room watching anime or playing video games. Well, maybe it's not bad to do this once in a while. It's a nice change of pace. I mean, I'd hate to do it every day, though. God, no, I don't want to spend every day. I don't want to spend time with you every day. That's too much. Nanami put my phone on the table and picked up her fish sandwich. She happily took off the wrapper and bit in. I suddenly remembered her saying that she liked the fish sandwiches here. I hope you get fat. She suddenly froze. She was looking at me with hatred in her eyes. Oh, you could tell her to fuck off, you could tell her to die, but that is probably the worst one you could have said to her. Then, after a moment's hesitation, she slowly offered me the half-eaten sandwich. That's half? That's not half, that's one bite. Want half? It's too late. You need to learn that girls won't like you if you say things like that. You're so stupid, brother. In the end, she ate the whole sandwich by herself. You greedy girl. You're not meant to share sandwiches. That's weird. After that, I was forced to listen to more of her boring stories before she finally handed the phone over to me. By then, the sun had set. It had been a long, painful few hours. I was finally able to say goodbye and head home. Fall was in full swing, and the chill of the night breeze did wonders to calm my headaches and urge to vomit. Being in a crowd for a long time always made my head hurt and made me want to throw up. I wish Nanami would die. Not literally die, but you know. She only cared about herself. She had absolutely no idea how much the things she was doing were hurting me. I was sure of that. If I could have, I would have snipped the phone in half and thrown it in the nearest garbage can. It wasn't my money, for one thing. But if I did that, Nanami would come back with my parents in tow this time, and they'd just tell me I had to buy another one since the first one broke. I restrained my impulse to destroy the thing. I managed not to smash it. Time to just go home. Go home and play some ESO. The stress had really been building up over these past few days. I hoped my peaceful daily life would come back soon. Another bizarre murder had taken place that night. The fourth new gen murder. Oh? 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 I was playing ESO when Grim, as usual, came to tell me. Shit. What? Well, if Grim's saying something about it, doesn't that mean that it already happened? Yo, Grim. You're late tonight. Whose eyes are those? Oh, shit. For a moment, I couldn't believe my eyes. How did Grim know those words? My fingers were shaking on the keyboard. I didn't know what to say. It was all I could do to keep my eyes on the monitor as he typed. The fourth new gen murder happened. I've been watching the festival. Shibuya's going nuts, man. This is one of the craziest of the lot. Oh, God. Oh, all the blood was drained from the victim's corpse. They found the body in the Inokashira Line station's toilets. And what happened to the body is just messed up. All its skin turned green. Scary, super scary. I'm starting to believe the guys who say something occult is going on. I bit my lip in front of the computer. I came close to imagining it in my mind, but I managed to shake off the delusion. I took a sip of soda to calm myself. Damn that Grim. He was deliberately trying to ambush me. I knew it. Something occult is going on. No human could have done that. Ha 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 ha, no reaction. I mean, he's been pretty open that he's disinterested in the subject towards Grim. How do you know so much about it? You're talking like you actually saw it. Well, I did, basically. You still don't care, then? About New Gen? I'd rather spend my free time grinding in ESO than reading up on New Gen. That's our lightning-fast Nightheart. He grinds like no mere mortal man can. He's our inspiration, our idol. I didn't want to talk about New Gen, so I tried to change the subject as soon as possible. Seems like it worked. Anyway, check this out. Oh, no. Well, I feel like I'm gonna get Rickrolled. Last time this had happened, he trolled me with what he'd said was a gore image, and it turned out to be something stupid he'd drawn. It was entirely possible he'd do the opposite this time. Wait, you seriously don't know? So the image is public or something? Know what? Are you actually just that far behind everyone else? Shut up. So, what is it? Don't make me click on it. Ooh, what if I told you your beloved Saratan was involved? Really? Then I had to look at it. Well, it looked like some kind of auction site. It probably wasn't a browser crash or anything bad like that, right? I clicked on the link, a little excited. I don't know, I'm a little nervous now. Oh, it's the shortage of type B blood? And yeah, some kind of auction. There is a shortage of type B blood. What was this flyer? I'd seen it somewhere. Deja vu again. I remember it was on the pet tissue packets. Anyway, where was the pic of Serotan? I scrolled the mouse wheel to go down the page. Eek. Ew. That was uncomfy. And I was suddenly met with what clearly was a gore image. I quickly looked back toward the left monitor and closed the browser. Oh, poor guy's gonna be going into like a flashback or a panic. The gore image had only been on my monitor for 3 seconds. I'd only really gotten a solid look at it for less than a second, but still. It's a pic of the 4th new gen body. Oh, the body was put up on an auction site before the media had reported on the murder. You could buy the victim's brutally murdered corpse, lol. In other words, the one who posted it has to be the new gen killer. Crazy, huh? Their username for the auction was Vampirer. I mean, it's obviously a throwaway username though, but the whole internet's going nuts. It's getting pasted into all kinds of different message boards. They're making memes of it. The meme craftsmen were right on top of it. Of course, I'm not surprised. And there's a dying message in it too, in the image. You know what? Of course there's a dying message. The first one had a locked room. This is just part of the trope. On the wall, written in the victim's blood. I didn't realize that stuff was real. Maybe the killer is just doing it for the lulz? Hello, Mr. Nightheart. Did you freeze on me? I'd only gotten to see the picture for a second, but still. It's a game. This whole world's a game. It's just a fictional game. The image of those red letters sloppily painted on the wall was burned into my brain. Really? Oh, I didn't even see the letters. It was the head and torso of the body for me. I tried not to think about it, but each of them came into my mind in turn, as if accusing me. Why were those words? Why were they there? Oh, it must be, whose eyes are those? I knew those words well. I said these words often. They were a question I would ask no one in particular, and Grimm had said them to me when I'd logged into ESL. Each of the words was common enough by itself, but no one else used them the way that I did. Whose eyes are those? Oh, damn. Oh, Then I think that might be a good place to stop. All over the place with that one, and leading up to another murder, another crime. What the hell is going on? Whose eyes are those? If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you didn't, I don't know, put it in the comments. I'm open. And subscribe. You can do the subscribey thing. If you subscribe, it means you're subscribed. It lets me know you're subscribed. And I hope to see you in the next one.